Well, the Super Bowl happened yesterday, and I wanted to touch on the halftime show that a lot of people have been speaking about. Not to go into this too much, but just to mention this concern about the propaganda and the social trajectory that seems to be being pushed in this society today. The performing act for the halftime show was Kendrick Lamar, who we've seen before has displayed concerning and blasphemous Luciferian symbolism. And so it's not really much of a stretch to say that this show would be part of this propaganda. Now, ostensibly, many people have talked about this dispute between the rapper Lamar and Drake, and that may well be true in terms of some of the so-called digs that are being put into this song. But on this channel, ultimately, we're not interested in celebrity disputes. We are concerned about Luciferian propaganda, false philosophies, and casting down arguments that elevate themselves against the word of God. What we see being pushed at the moment, in my opinion, is a lot of this false left-right revolutionary spirit. I mean, in this song, you've got a lot of references to cultural divides and cultural clashes, revolution. He says in the lyrics, the revolution will be televised. You got the wrong person at the right time. Another lyric that he says is seize the government. Another lyric that he says is left stroke went viral, and then he talks about the right stroke. You have Uncle Sam being shown in this performance, and he talks about a cultural cheat code. And then another point he says about everybody want to be a demon till they get chipped by a throwaway. So really what we see here, in my opinion, and this is really strictly my opinion, but just let me know if you agree, but this seems to be this false dichotomy where we've got this revolutionary trajectory against the supposed Illuminati and the current world system and this, that and the other, which we've covered many times on here before. They're also showing much the same Luciferian symbolism as before. Well, that in itself shows you that this is a false dichotomy, the false philosophy of the world, and that following the trajectories of this world is basically just leading to the same thing. So here are the highlights of what I wanted to point out to you in this performance, Kendrick Lamar last night, the Super Bowl. Straight away, it goes through that forbidden fruit, the apple with the bite taken out of it. Obviously the Apple logo, but in my opinion, that represents that forbidden fruit, which is the fruit that Adam and Eve took and got us into this problem of sin in the first place. So often you see them promoting that kind of concept. And then we open up onto the stage in the Super Bowl where we've got the game laid out and it counts to 100, and you see the different pieces on a chessboard or on the game, and it ultimately creates like a game controller where, like a PlayStation, where this is showing that this is playing a game, hinting that this is perhaps this social manipulation game in America. And you get Uncle Sam there, played by Samuel L. Jackson, representing the USA. And Kendrick Lamar comes on stage and he says, salutations, it's your Uncle Sam, and this is the great American game. So really strange stuff being shown here. And as I say, I think this is somewhat showing this false dichotomy, this left and right orchestration, and this social chaos, order out of chaos and all that. It says start here in the crowd there. So this is the start of the game. And as I said, very ironic, kind of sadly ironic that the place is called Caesar's Superdome. Ultimately, the bread and circuses of this game, the Romanism, and Caesar being that leader of Rome that was proclaimed himself to be as God, like the Caesar or the emperor. So it's very interesting and weirdly ironic. I'm not saying that that's done intentionally, but it's just Obviously adds to the weirdness of it all, really. And the Rome 2.0, right? Again, this seems to be this whole swing to the revolutionary opposite, the revolutionary side, standing against the corruption and standing against the system, and all of that kind of Hegelian dialectic trajectory that we keep seeing being shown perhaps in this propaganda and social manipulation. Problem, reaction, solution, and all of that. Because you see that it's the same, even though it's pushing for this revolutionary quest, you see that it's very ritualistic. They're all dressed in a very ritualistic way. And you see Uncle Sam kind of overseeing it there. He's saying, do you really know how to play the game? You see there? You really know how to play the game? And they all assemble themselves into the American flag. It says, warning, wrong way. And Uncle Sam talks about a cultural cheat code. So it's all set up as if it's some big social manipulation game, in my opinion. And these guys dressed in white, they're actually assembled in the X, one of the symbols on the game controller, so to speak. But we've gone into that kind of this symbolism before. But you see how it's pushing towards this beast symbolism, the symbolism of the beast kingdom and the mark of the beast, and the beast kingdom that is being pushed. And you see they wind around like a serpent here up this street. You see that they actually make a street in the center of the stadium. This like this the street lights. Look at that. You've got the lady in red, the lady in scarlet, in the center of the pyramid there, much as we see with the other stuff. So it's all the same thing, and it's just a false dichotomy. And remember, in the Bible, it says that Satan masquerades as an angel of light. I mean, how can you say that this is not Luciferian ritualistic content? You see them marching around this circle after that lights up from her being there in the pyramid, and they're marching round and down the street here. As I said, it just strikes me as perhaps, it's just an impression I get, that this is, as this shows streets, and Uncle Sam is basically saying, that's what I'm talking about. America, that's what America wants. America wants something nice and calm. So you see how this appears to be kind of like a social manipulation. And then you see them all in the streets, and very kind of bizarre and strange shots here. It just looks a lot like this order out of chaos. It looks a lot like they're showing this clash, cultural clash and clash in society. And he talks a bit about the Bible and God watching. Very disturbing stuff. And you see how this is all laid out, as I said, like a computer game with the different symbols like associated with a PlayStation controller. And you see like a Squid Games thing, perhaps some people have mentioned. But you see how this is all like showing like a street in an American street, and all of these people there. And then they run in circles here, you see. And then they actually run at each other in the street, like a kind of collide and a clash in the street. So again, this is not prophetic. It says game over at the end. This is not prophetic. This is just literally showing you that these things are used as propaganda. I've seen a number of people say that this year's one wasn't Luciferian propaganda, wasn't any of that stuff. But as you can see, clearly it's just the world being the world, right? The world is always pushing its philosophies, pushing its false wisdom, and following the world is always going to lead in the wrong direction until Jesus Christ returns and establishes his kingdom fully. So now we're in the time of now but not yet. Jesus' kingdom is here in his people. When we are born again of the Spirit, we enter into his kingdom, we're adopted into his family until Jesus Christ returns and establishes the millennial reign on earth. Until then, we're seeing a lot of counterfeits, we're seeing a lot of pagan worship, we're seeing the same Luciferian religion trying to push its false philosophies and basically leading towards the rule of this 13th Caesar, of this man who claims to be as God, who is referred to in the Bible as the Antichrist, the son of perdition, and many believe that he will come, this figure, in the future, possibly soon, I don't know, and establish the Beast Confederation. I encourage you to come to the gospel today and be saved from our sin. Thank you.